I have just been feeling this way lately. And I don't even know if it's just been lately, but I have been feeling this way, y'all. I really, really, really miss my mama. I really do. And I think what is so shocking, and I don't know if it's shocking, but I think what's such a surprise to me is that it appears that the older I'm getting, the harder it becomes without her. Like all these various tests and trials, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I don't depend on God, I don't trust in God, because if you know me, I really depend and trust in God to get me through everything. But I'm talking about in the physical form. I really, really, really miss my mama. Like some of these situations and trials, it's like your normal instinct would be, let me call my mama. My mama would know what to do. And even then, sometimes you feel like when nobody else in the world understands you, nobody understands your thought process, nobody can articulate exactly what it is you're feeling, nobody can zoom in and on what you're feeling, you know that, especially if you have a close bond with your mom, you know what? I can call my mama. Once again, I'm not Xing God out of the situation because I know God is very mindful. God has us in the palm of his hand. God allows us to go through situations and trials and tests. And it's all to test what he's equipped and put in us. But again, in the physical, y'all, I am missing my mother. Like really, really, really big or bad, really bad, not big. And it's like, it's going on. December will be, I think, 28 years. No, it will be 29 years. And I'm so shocked that I've made it this long without her. And I remember that night that she passed, I could not see past that one moment at St. Mary's Hospital. I could not see past that emergency room. That seeing her all hooked up with all these tubes. She was still, I guess, intubated with the tubes, but they allowed us to see her. I could not see past that one day. And here it is. You're talking about almost 29 years later. I have made it this far without my mother. It is something that is sometimes hard to grasp that I actually did it. But I know that is solely because of God. God has had me in the palm of his hands. He has covered me. He has placed a lot of mother figures in my life over the years, but nothing compares to having your own mother. And I think when I'm thinking on this, we often say, I don't know how I'm going to make it through this, and I don't know how I'm going to make it through that. And if we look at some of the things that we've already dealt with in life, we've gotten through, most of the times we will see that we have already gotten through what we consider and what we deem to be the worst days of our life. In one of my very first videos on this channel, I talked about living through heartbreak or living with heartbreak. And I said that there is nothing that has been able to touch the pain or the hurt that comes from losing your mother. Or some of you may have been closer to your father than you were your mother. But me, I was closer to my mother. So there is nothing that has equated to that type of pain that you feel when you lose your mother. I talked about how going through my marriage, that ended in divorce, that couldn't touch the pain of losing my mother. You talk about going through relationships, you end those, though that doesn't touch the pain of losing my mother. Talk about calling off an engagement when you just knew that this was it for you. The pain and the hurt of that doesn't touch losing my mother. And I just want to appeal or whatever I can to people out there that still have your parents. Whatever you need to do, if y'all not talking, if y'all not getting along, y'all can't stand each other, y'all can't love each other, do whatever you need to do to close those gaps, man, because parents are leaving here. Children are leaving here left and right. And one of the worst things that can happen is if the parent or the child should leave this world and y'all were not okay. Your relationship was not okay. And then now all you got left now is regrets. Oh, I wish I would have spent this time with my mother. I wish I would have spent this time with my father. Oh, I wish I invested more time in my child's life, or I did more with my children. That's what's going to matter in the end. So I always, when I hear people, at odds with their parents, I try to remind them, listen, one day your parents aren't going to be here. And if we looking at how people are leaving this world left and right, one day we aren't going to be here. So while you have that time, please restore those relationships. Whatever y'all got to do to make amends. If you got to humble yourself and apologize, do it. If that's what will help y'all get back together, loving and enjoying one another, somebody just humble yourself and reach out to your mama, your daddy, your son, your daughter, your grandchildren, whoever it is that you need to repair that relationship, because one day we aren't going to be here. And it's a heartbreaking thing to have to live with. I wish I would have. Oh, I wish I would have did this. I wish I would have loved them this way. I'm telling y'all, take it from somebody that's living it. 28, 29 years, I always reflect now over the years, oh, I wish I would have had some more time to love on my mother. And like I said, God has been faithful to me to give me a lot of mother figures. They have loved on me. They have helped me become the woman that I am today. They have helped me become the mother that I am. A lot of what I remember of my mom from those 14 years, I took that on as a parent, but God has been very gracious to make sure that I had examples and I appreciate them. In fact, recently I was in Dallas and one of my mother figures, she hugged me before I rushed off to the airport, and she hugged me so tight. When she let me go, she looked me in my face and she said, I don't want you to be discouraged. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Doesn't matter what you're feeling. Just know God is mindful of you. God has you in the palm of his hands, and God is going to bless you. And it just meant so much. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I had to fight back, not crying, but it made me miss my mother even the more in that conversation, to where I got on the plane and I thought about it the whole flight home. Like, I miss my mother. And I often sometimes still sit around and ask God, why? Why did you have to take her? Or why didn't I get just a little bit more time? And one thing that is certain about this life, none of us know how much time we have. You couldn't have told me that my mom would only reach the age of 50. And sometimes I look at my age right now, I'm only 7 years younger than when my mom passed away. We don't know how much time we have, but the time that we have, we need to take advantage of it, because it's not a guarantee that we're going to be here 5, 10, 20 more years, because none of us truly, truly know when God is going to say, I need you. And because we don't know, this is why we should take advantage of every moment we get. I have 2 daughters that I love beyond what can be measured. I absolutely love and adore them. And my bond with my girls is really, 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 really tight. We communicate often. They're adults now, which is still so very shocking to me, that not only did I basically grow up into adulthood without a mother, that I end up having 2 children on my own, raised them, and now they're in adulthood. Y'all, that is like so wild to me. But I'm so proud of them. I am proud when I look at them. I have something to smile about. I feel accomplished at the way that they have turned out. They have their head on straight. They are in college doing their thing. I'm very proud of them. So I wanted to make sure that I capitalize on the moments, because I don't know how long they'll have me, or I don't know how long I'll have them. We're so used to parents leaving before the children. Not in today's time. A lot of children we're having more funerals for children than we are parents nowadays. So take advantage of those moments. My children, Lord, they know. They can call me at any time. And when I say anytime, I mean anytime. One of them has called me at like 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm like dead sleep. But every time they call, I'm going to answer. Whenever they're in need, I will go without to help meet their need. But those are sacrifices as parents or whatever. But all these things I missed out with my mom. I didn't get that. And I just said, I mean, just like I was saying earlier, it's just so amazing to me that the older I'm getting, the harder it's becoming. So when people say that, time heals, time it soothes. I don't know if it 100% heals, and I will say over time you adjust to learning and living without people, or you adjust to living in a situation a certain way. But I don't know if I believe that time actually heals. It just teaches you how to live with a person, without a person, in a situation, out of a situation. And I think that's what I'm seeing, because by now this should have been a little easier, I think. But you're talking about 28, 29 years later, and I still get sad at the mention of my mom's name, or if we're talking about any scenario about mothers, or when I'm around those mother figures in my life and we have those one-on-one conversations like a bonding or whatever, it still gets emotional that, oh my gosh, my mother is really, really gone, and she has missed out on so much of my life. And I would love to be able to call her like right now in my life and just call and vent and just lay everything on her and get some advice from her. And not saying that I can't do that with all of the people in my life, but it is different when you don't have your mother or that parent that you are close to. So if you are watching this video, you have an issue with your parent, you haven't talked to them in years, y'all, please call each other. Please bridge these gaps. Please apologize for whatever you did. If you don't even know what you did, just humble yourself, call and apologize. Listen, I'm sorry. I don't like this rift between us. I love you. I thank God for you. Whatever you got to do. Parents, sometimes we are in the wrong. Sometimes we owe our kids an apology. So parents, if you're watching this video and you are the reason why you and your kids don't have a bond or there's a problem, pick up the phone, call your children, humble yourself, and bridge those gaps. Children, sometimes y'all think once y'all are adults, y'all can talk to your parents any kind of way. You can treat them any kind of way. And a lot of times that is what the issue is in relationships, that now you're grown, you feel like I got it, I can do this and do that. There's scripture that goes against that, where it says, honor thy father and mother, that your days may be longer. So if you're a child watching this video and you have disrespected or dishonored your parents in any way, pick up the phone and call your parents. Apologize. You be the one. If you feel like your parent don't want to hear it, still call. Parents, if you feel like your child don't want to hear it, still call. Somebody got to humble themselves and mend your relationship. So again, I really didn't have a caption for this video. This was just on my heart, y'all. Pray for me, because I really miss my mama. I really do. And I have so much that if she was present today, I would have so much to call and talk to her about. And I feel that she would understand where I'm coming from. She would understand my thought process. Even though some people may think I have lost my mind in some situations, my mother would understand, and I could get that advice from her on which way to go, which way not to go, what to do, not to do. But then again, that is where my relationship with God comes in. I totally trust God. God has been leading. God has been directing, and I have been following. But I wish I could call my mom sometimes. Y'all have a blessed evening and stay tuned for the next video. It's going to be a good one.